Dave, we're back.
We are back. Oh, we're on.
Yeah, we're on. Whoa, Dave, turn that up. No, I'm joking. Great stuff. Yeah, right. Let's have a little look then. Let's make sure we're live. Dave, we should have got better at this over the years.
So what are we doing? Who are these people? Why are they in my room?
I don't know. Daryl Hall's the first one on here.
So something's changed since we come back. Is it always like leaning that much far forward? It's really hard to read the comments.
There we go.
See, we're getting better light there because
getting better light. Yeah, that is good. Hey everyone, how are we doing? Apologies, we're running a little bit behind schedule today. But yeah,
the professionalism is back.
The dream team. Bri is right. Yeah, Dave, it's been ages since me and you've been on live.
It has, yeah.
I think between me going away to Peru
and me staying in work, in the office in Newport,
in the office, and then you been away as well. It's been a
You went to where'd you go again? Was it South America?
Yeah, it was
I was near Aberystwyth. Yeah, so
still beautiful.
Yeah, still beautiful. It's the same, isn't it?
It's all got its perks. But no, mate, it's great to be back with Dave. And yeah, mate, I've missed you.
It's been good.
I missed you, Dave.
The boys are back in town. I see on the email we were compared to a boy band.
Fiona, who was amazing. She does some of our emails, and she's part of the Instagram team as well.
Not Fee.
So yeah, no, we've got two Fees. We've got
Fiona B.
Fiona B, because her surname's Brennan, not because she's the lesser. But yeah,
I wonder where you was going at.
And yeah, she does it, and she couldn't help but comparing us to boy bands. I mean, would we be Backstreet Boys or Take That? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's loads of pretty cool rock bands that they could have compared us to. But
I've never wanted it that way. Couldn't resist. Sorry, guys. Sorry. No, great stuff. Oh, here we go. Heather, you didn't leave anything behind in ABBA, did you, Dave?
You didn't leave anything behind in ABBA, did you, Dave? I don't think so.
No.
Unless she's found my wallet or something.
Oh wow! So you got something at Dave's now, because you'd be like, show us. No, look, it's great to see everyone on. Let's have a little look. Then we got Daryl, we got James, we got David, Ned Squire, we obviously got Heather, we got Bri, Dream Team, Helen, Shona, Dave McFadden, Marky V. How you doing, bro? We got Sophie Hurst, Andrew Scott, Stuart Taylor, Tina Barrett, Henrietta. Andy McNaughton Jones. It's all
John Moxham's just smashed the Loch Ness Marathon.
Oh wow! How did it go, John? Yeah, sorry, John Paul. Was it? Yeah, but it sounds like a beast. It's a long way.
Is it going to be? Did you do that deliberately?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It sounds like a beast.
Sounds like a monster.
Yeah, no, mate. I was like. That's pretty good. Why are the best ones that you don't even realise?
It's one of those, isn't it? Maybe I think my brain is always thinking about those little names.
Yeah.
But anyway, right. Sorry for the chaotic start this week, but yeah, this week we kind of wanted to focus on, excuse me, something that definitely cropped up in conversation probably about 6 weeks ago when we were planning these.
Yeah.
And essentially around the training aspect. Now I know a lot of Evertrekkers on here. We've already done a lot of our trips. I know there's some Evertrekker kind of new recruits. You kind of come to the community over the last kind of 12 months. But a lot around the training, it can be twofold. Like when we say stop training, it's not to say don't do anything. It's to do something else instead. Because when we've talked about training over the years, the best part of that we feel is that if you can incorporate your training into an adventure, into something, a marathon a Loch Ness Marathon, for example, into an event, into something that gets you outdoors, it's far more beneficial for you, we think anyway, and how people kind of fare on treks, is that if you're doing those things where you're actually going on a trek, like if you're going trekking, do more trekking, right? That's what we kind of talk about. And I think the general gist of this was, okay, gym is great, go into the gym, doing the efforts, it all helps.
Yeah.
But if you can actually do your training on the types of terrain and, the mountains, trails, if you're doing your walking and you're hiking or, even some mountaineering, if you're doing it on where you're, on similar terrain and similar kind of challenge to the one you're going to do, that to us is far more suited, I think, to success.
Yeah. I also think another aspect of it is not to lose track of what you enjoy doing in the first place. Because one of the things that I started to notice, the more I sort of do training and the more I go to the mountains, I started associating my life only with the big trips.
Yeah.
And I'd only go to see the Brecon Beacons or Scotlanders, but training. And it started to kind of get a little bit, well, actually, I used to come here to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
You know, these 10-mile hikes or 5-mile hikes or whatever you do, I used to just come out here with my friends for enjoyment.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same exercise, the exact same step count as when I go there for training. So the other part of it is not to lose sight of actually what you enjoy doing here as well.
Yeah.
And to make your training enjoyable, and not to focus it just in, it's really good. And I admit this. So I rarely do a hike or a ride or a run or anything. I really do a run full stop, but without sort of recording it on Strava and things like that, because I do like the numbers and I like to see how I compare to previous ones. But occasionally I'll just go out for the joy of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter really. You just need to, as long as you're putting miles in the legs and you're having a good time, that's when training becomes easy.
Yeah.
Because everyone always says the hardest part about running a marathon is the training for it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that can be the same with like these big hikes. The hardest part of going to Everest Base Camp can be the training, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
You can just go out and be a regular person that goes out, enjoys the hikes, and you won't lose motivation for it. The moment you start associating all the hikes you do with training, it starts to become a chore. And and that's where I think a big one for me.
Because that can happen, can't it? Like you're training a lot, and it can get to you in a way. Not and this isn't everyone. There's some people, and I know a lot of Evertrackers who are severe, very motivated people. Going to the gym, going for a run is easy. It's natural. It's like brushing their teeth in the morning, and that's great. But I know not everyone's like that, and sometimes it can be a challenge to kind of get yourself out and doing something, especially if the mountains aren't close to you, if these type of areas aren't within like 3 hours, it can be quite hard. So I think that was kind of the big thing today for us, is that try and make getting out into the mountains, the adventures, part of your training, which is even if like 80% of your training is out and about, that could be on the weekends, on a Saturday, it could be going up Penavan, Ben Nevis. It could be, like Loch Ness there. You could do a hike around Loch Ness if you live local to it. Yeah. There's so much you can do, but if you can incorporate an adventure into that and make that adventure just as important as your trip, you're going to enjoy it far more than trying to beast yourself, I think.
Yeah, no.
And not that wouldn't help, but I think mentally you enjoy it a lot more, right?
Yeah, and 100%. And I'll say, like hands up, I completely struggle with motivation sometimes when it comes to these things. And I'll admit that I've done trips that I'm completely undertrained for. Yeah. And part of that is because of the motivation. And I started thinking a little while ago, sort of going back in my mind about why is that happening? Yeah. And I honestly believe that part of it is I stopped going out and enjoying what I was doing. Yeah. It became training. And then it became a chore, a job, something I had to sort of schedule into my life, where when I used to go out, when I don't have a big trip on the horizon, it feels different. And I started thinking, that'd be amazing. Imagine if every time you went out and trained for a big trip, you were just out there for the thrill of what you were doing at that moment. And it's really almost like a kind of mindfulness practice where, do you know what? I'm on this mountain now. It's freezing cold. There's snow. There's driving rain, and I'm actually having a great time. Yeah. And I'm not miserable, and I'm not doing this only because I want to do something else. But the great part about it is you are training. Yeah. You are doing it for something else.
Anytime you're on your legs.
So you get the best of both worlds. And sometimes I do think, I just saw someone there said something that I've recently started doing, and I'll be honest with you, it feels amazing.
What, run into Greg's before they close? What, Brian?
That's a rookie mistake, mate. I'm in the queue before it opens. Stop pausing Strava every time you stop for a break. So when I'm out walking or riding my bike, which is Helen, predominantly the training that I do, Helen, I completely agree with you. It's changed everything. I just set it to go and I put it in my pocket and I forget about it. And then I turn it back off at the car. And I've started to think, do you know what? That is actually that's a more accurate description of what I've done that day. Like, I didn't just go out and, you know, move in time. I had lots of other times when I sat and I relaxed. And then when I look back at it, it's a realistic thing. Like, actually, it took me 5 hours to do that, not the 2.5 that I'm going to pretend I did it in.
So it's funny that, isn't it? It does pick up your moving time. And I know you can change a few settings, but it is interesting because some of the days when I was in Peru, and I will be uploading all the data as well, because I've got the kind of the route that we did, you know, which is quite a new route. Well, it is a new route, and I'll be kind of looking at that. But I was looking at the data thinking, sure, I was moving longer than that, because it's only tracking the moving time.
Yeah.
In terms of, obviously, the whole journey's the day. And you're like, okay.
But it's more realistic, right? So, you know, if you look at only the move-in time, the time it takes me to get from Facting to Namche, it's probably about 4 hours.
Yeah,
but I can tell you this: it has never, I've never done it in 4 hours. And honestly, I see Shona there. She resonates as well. She's going through it at the minute with some of the motivation.
Shona, you can do it, mate. 4 weeks.
Yeah, Shona's brilliant as well. She lives in the mountains. But I think, you know, one other thing I'll try and do as well, and I know I bang on about it a lot as well, but I actually do like having multiple things that I enjoy. Yeah. Not a one-dimensional.
Well, variety is great, isn't it, in life? I mean, you know, there's different people value different things, but some people like the variety, don't they? And doing like yourself, you know, you're into so many different things. You know, you don't get bored of it then, right?
No. Well, the thing is as well, you asked me one time, like, what's the difference between what I enjoy about, because my two favorite things to do are hiking and biking. I love the two. And then you said to me, like, what do I get out of them? And honestly, the biggest thing, the overall thing, the holistic thing is I get variation. But I also, like, mountain biking, I kind of do just for fun. It's a little bit dangerous. But hiking is far more, I don't know if I want to go too deep too early and say it's a spiritual. But I just,
that's different, isn't it?
That slow time in the mountains, you know, is when you just hike in and your only job that day is to go from A to B with a pack on your back. There's something therapeutic about that. I don't care.
No, there is. I think whenever we've been out and we're kind of, you know, you have your quiet times. I'm sure a lot of you guys, you know, Bri, who was in Snowdonia, you know, there's going to be moments there when you have your quiet times. You'll be thinking of, you know, what's going through your life, what, you know, what's for tea, you know, all that stuff that kind of pops in, you know, relationship stuff, whatever is in your mind. It's good to have that, you know, because I think life's so busy, right? We've, you know, everyone's got busy lives. We're always doing something. We've got to be somewhere. It's nice to have a bit of downtime, right?
Yeah.
Where you can actually think. And I think thinking time is well underrated, like underutilized.
Yeah.
In society these days. And I think it's so rewarding having the time. I mean, geez, you know, started Evertrek from a thought that happened whilst I had some quiet time. Imagine what can happen when you have a little bit of thinking time, and you know, you get these crazy ideas, and some of them work out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, a lot of the time today, especially in the times that we live in, and I know probably every generation going back years and decades has said this, but there's so much to distract you, and distraction has almost become the aim of the game.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many like that. You go on, like, you can't go on the internet without being bombarded with ads. You can't drive on a road without being bombarded with ads. You listen to the radio, you're bombarded. Everything's, I mean, our ads are doing okay, yeah. But
I was going to say some ads, all right.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, like, you wake up in the morning and then you drive to work and then you go to work and then you come home and then you fit in a bit of training and then you watch TV and you go to bed and you actually think about it. How much time have I actually had exploring my own thoughts? Now, I can't do that just by sitting down and deciding to do it. I can't meditate. I've tried. People have said they'll teach me. It doesn't work. I think ADD brain stops me from doing that. Like, I'll sit there and everyone's like, concentrate on your breathing, and I'm like, I can't. But
everyone's different though, right?
Maybe meditation's different. So when I go out on a hike and I always remember this feeling. Like, first time I did EBC and I came back, and it was the first hike I did afterwards. And it was about a week after I came back from EBC. And I put on my pack, and there was something about putting it on and clipping it together that felt right. And then I set off, and it was the 10-miler. It was me, you, my dad, and John.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, and we hooked up. First time I saw you after I come back, and we hooked up for a hike. And I was walking down the road, and I just thought, I felt like peace, you know. Yeah. And I think that's like first time you do it, and I've spent my life trying to recapture that. I'm like a hiking addict. You know.
Oh, it's nice to see some people as well. Jim Blues back from base camp. Jim, oh mate, those pictures look fantastic. I know it's been really challenging out there this the early parts of the trekking season. So mate, great to see you safely back. Let everyone know how you got on, mate. You smashed it.
Yeah.
Kalapatar as well. Love that picture of the Everest summit. Well done. Always great to see Evertrekkers share their journey with us. Anyone that's out there, I know a lot of you. I think Rebecca's actually going in a couple of days. I know, honestly, share your pictures. We love to see how you get on.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're sharing that moment with you then. And Jim, welcome back, mate. Welcome back. Time to plan the next one now. But yeah, great stuff. I think Andrea, live in the middle of London, not much hiking. Yeah, and not always easy to get up, but I always feel amazing after on the treadmill. Yeah, mate. And this is it, because what we're talking here is, depending on where you live, not everyone has the mountains on their back doors, in their back, not far from their back door. I was being careful what I was saying there, Dave. The mountains are not close to everyone. So I know this could get out of hand.
No, you're right. And I like what Andrea said there about building resilience.
Yeah.
Because that's another part of it. And I think we've done a live about that. But if not, maybe we should touch it again. Because do you remember who we spoke to? This is so bad. I should have done my research before, because she was great. I think it was my white dog. Paula Power.
She was brilliant.
Paula Power, one of the first.
She was on our podcast.
Yeah, part of the first. Podcast. I'm so embarrassed that I forgot her name. Yeah. Especially Paula Power, because it's a good name.
Yeah, I can't forget Paula. She's a lovely lady.
Yeah, and she was part of the first all-female team to reach the
North
Pole.
Yeah.
And she was talking to us about sort of building resilience into your everyday life, and certainly, doing what Andrea said there, like, setting yourself challenges, like getting up and doing that 5K run and building it into your routine, and in relishing that feeling afterwards certainly does help. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it's something special about it, isn't it? And I think Sophie mentioned there, I had some moments during EBC where I felt like I was meditating while hiking, the best place for it. Yeah, certainly. I mean, not that, you turn into some sort of monk, but it's certainly... Some do, yeah, which is all good. We're massive monk fans, but when it comes to when you're hiking, you do get these kind of moments that kind of that enable you to just have that free space in your mind. And it's awesome. But Brian makes a good point there. There's loads of virtual challenges if you can't get to these places, but all of it, we go back to what we're talking about in terms of the training side. All of it prepares you for what you're going to do. I know all of you, like Kev there. Kev, 2 days. Great stuff, Kev. Kev Beavis going off to Everest. A lot of you have worked really hard for this. And to go back to what Shona was saying then about maybe, struggling a bit of motivation. Just remember why you're doing this and what you get out of it and what it means to you. Sometimes we all need that kind of mental kind of kick in the backside sometimes, or a reminder of why we're doing things in life. And whether you do it for charity, just to prove something to yourself, whether it's just for the challenge, there's so many different reasons. So some people go out there for, in memory of someone, different reasons for all of us. But go back to that central reason, and sometimes that can be enough to get you off the sofa and get you out the door. Maybe do that 2-3 hour drive and get you up the mountains or get you somewhere. But if not, maybe it will get you on that treadmill. Maybe it will get you into the gym, and it's different courses for different horses. Different horses for courses. Man, I'm doing well today with my. It's not quite there.
I think it's horses for courses, right?
It is.
Which I think means what? Just because, basically, because you can.
I suppose my point is different things for different people. Some people that works. Some people the other thing works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this is what it's all about. Like when we were talking about, turn your training into an adventure. I guess what it is really is about the mindset of training.
Yeah. And
it's about not being bogged down in the task of training and treating it more like an individual adventure or just a fun hobby that you like to do.
Yeah.
And I see so many people, they're out in the mountains, are having these awesome times, and there seems to be a new type of like hiking influencer that's like on Instagram now. I've seen it quite a lot where these completely normal people have got these huge followings, and all they do is go out into the mountains and just document their like journey.
Really?
And honestly, I'm a big fan of Alf. So I'll show you some.
What's that, Nims?
Yeah. And no, it's absolutely fantastic,
yeah.
because it's just inspiring people to get out there. There's this one I saw recently where she like does lots of cold water swims and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's got like a massive following at the minute. It's crazy.
Good old Insta.
Yeah.
Outdoorsing on Instagram. Yeah, here we are, Helen. But no, a few people mentioned there. Bright, I love that. I'm taking part in a charity sleigh pull next month. Bright, I can't wait to see the pictures. But no, that is good. That's great training. If you pull in a sleigh, mate, I can't wait for that. If you do it a month later, you can actually dress up as Father Christmas, Bright. I 100% want to see that, as Marky V says. Ho ho ho, definitely. So going back to the kind of what we're trying to kind of get to, really, is that try not to kind of see training as a chore. It can be a chore sometimes. I know, we're all human beings. We all, like I said, with variety. Sometimes the training isn't variety. Going for a run, going to the gym, going out the mountains. Sometimes it can grind on you if and it can get you a bit down. But again, go to the central reasons. Remember why you're doing it. Try something different. If you go and run in, go the opposite way. I think Amy there has mentioned
run backwards.
Or run backwards, go a different way.
Is that it?
That is good training, actually. I've joined a local rambling club where I'd walk out my front door and not know where to go next. That sounds like a Lord of the Rings quote there.
Yeah.
Almost. I'll step onto the road. There's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Amy
is the sort of the Bilbo Baggins of the Evertrek.
Sorry, Amy. Yeah, you've been pigeonholed there, mate. But no, some great questions coming in as well, which I know we'll tackle. Before we do, though, I know if you were here on last week's Tuesday tune-in, which was myself and Rosie, and yeah, if you did, you've seen some posts in the groups. Honestly, I just want to say we had an amazing response to the Evertrekker investor request, which is amazing. Like it would, like as I said last week, we wanted to see where people were at, because we know it's mad at the moment, right? In the world. But obviously we want to see people on that, share that journey with people, because Evertrek, is going places. Obviously, I know we do go places, but I mean going places in terms of our business. And honestly, I think we've had almost 300 people now, Evertrekkers, have said they want to invest. So yeah, I just want to kind of let everyone know that the wheels are in motion. I've had a lot of conversations with people to make it happen. It's not a massively quick thing. It does take a few weeks. So I know there's a lot of interest, a lot of people wanting to become part of Evertrek in a much closer way. And then we're going to be releasing this to the community as soon as we can. Now, obviously, there'll be some, as always, we like to reward people for doing things, and there will be Evertrekker rewards for you. It's going to be great, especially because we're releasing obviously a lot of new trips over the next 6 to 12 months. It's going to be very valuable for you. But no, I just want to say, to the community, really, like, thanks for all of your feedback as well, because in there was a question about, if you did want to invest, what would you like us to use that money to invest in? And some of the ideas were brilliant. I mean, It's great they were on the kind of same level. A lot of them were some things that we're already working on.
Yes, surprisingly, many of them said a bar at Evertrekker HQ.
There's already a bar. There's already beers in the fridge.
No, but like a proper staffed bar was quite a lot of them said. A number of people said basically like it would be much better if they could see the Evertrek staff have not just like one mountain bike, but probably multiple mountain bikes. And honestly, the response has been overwhelming, and in that respect. So those are two things I think that were on the top two.
They were. I'm not sure they're top 10, Dave, but they're not far away.
Well, I submitted 100 emails myself.
Wow.
I had to sign up to 100. Yeah, if you have Dave.carpenter, Dave.carpenter, Dave.carpenter. Yeah.
No, honestly, there were some amazing suggestions. And we take every single one of those on board, because it's just great to see where people are at, especially when it comes to trips and things, because we know we've got a lot in the pipeline. That if a lot of you have been part of the journey with us now for a few years, and you'll know that we released a lot of new trips, and then COVID happened, and we've kind of tried to stagger it a bit more, whilst retaining the quality. So yeah, but we've got a lot in the pipeline in terms of exciting new trips.
Yeah.
Which leads us on to something else that we may as well talk about now. Is that a little tease? I don't want to give too much info, but
they're gonna get it.
Obviously, gonna get it. I'm sure you got an inkling of what it might be.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. No, mate. As soon as you tell them, they'll want to.
Are they gonna have
they're gonna want to alpaca their bag straight away.
Brilliant. Now, basically, when we went out to Peru, a few weeks back now.
So when you went to Peru.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
Nah,
next time.
That's fine.
It's busy, man.
Water off a duck's back, mate. Water under the bridge.
You got a 2 calendar set, bro.
That's true.
Now, there were obviously a lot of ideas, and we went out there and we loved the Tomokia route. Absolutely loved it. Obviously, we got some awesome content. Actually, Zach, who's head of content, he's actually creating some lovely, putting all our videos together. So we'll be getting out very soon. But when we were out there and we did, part of the Inca Trail, it did bring up actually how awesome the feeling was to follow in the footsteps of the Incas. And it actually made us think about, could we do, like we do Everest Base, like with Everest Base Camp, we've got like 3 different routes that we go there. And we know there's other routes to Machu Picchu, but we wanted to have a look at them because we know a lot of Evertrekkers have done like the Inca Trail, done Salcante route. And so we're going to put together another route there as well. So we're going to have another route that's coming out this week. So very exciting. Don't want to give too much, but we will be dropping all the details in the Facebook group, and we will be dropping all the information on email. So to anyone that isn't on the email list, do comment, and just if you comment with the word Inca, I know a lot of you are on the email address already, but if you're not, just comment with Inca, so INCA, and I'll add you to. We'll drop you a message. We'll add you to. We'll add you to the email list, and then we'll send you all the information so you don't miss that. So just wanted to kind of let little tease, so people can find out.
So there's a new trail.
There's another trail.
Yeah. So we're going to launch a new trail over there.
Well, we've already got the new trail.
Yeah.
But as a little bit of a tease, this could be one that's another trail out there.
Yeah.
So there's
so many. I'm going to stop because otherwise I may as well just mention it.
I know.
No, but no.
But Rob's not far off.
Oh, look at that, Daryl. Hello from a very wet Namche Bazaar. Loving it so far.
Oh, Daryl. Hope you're dry, mate. Hope you're dry. And Namche, a great place. One of my favorite places. Definitely my favorite place on the Everest Base Camp trek. And have a safe trip.
I've said I want to spend a season out there.
You should.
So it's one of my ideas is to actually go out there.
Cheers,
and do, if not a season, but like spend a month in Namche.
Yeah.
Maybe in April or October, the busiest season, and just be the friendly Yeti welcoming all the guys there. But mate, you want to get yourself down to Himalayan Java, have a nice cup of coffee and a cake.
It is really nice there.
It's magical down there.
Just in the kind of central bit, it's great coffee.
Do you know what? I wonder if was it Daryl? I wonder, Daryl, if you can find this, right? But not far from Himalayan Java, there's a little kind of like, it's like the equivalent of a spa shop, right? Where you can go in there. And I found wasabi coated cuttlefish.
Really?
Yeah, it's like little, but they were like little peas.
Wow.
And me and John never got a pack, right? I tell you what, if he brings a pack back, I dare say I'll give him 2 times
it's like supermarket sweeping now.
I will give him twice the RRP for those, plus a buff. If you can get me some wasabi coated cuttlefish.
Challenge.
Yeah, challenge.
Good luck. I'm sure it'd be looking for that is good acclimatization.
Yeah.
Anytime you're on your feet is good acclimatization. So go for
it. That's what we should do, right? You know what I might do? What's that thing where you stash things around and everyone
geocaching?
We should geocache the Himalaya. Go on a trip and we'll do it. And if you find
someone it was actually quite interesting in the Evertrekker Invest. Some people put geocaching trips, which was actually a great idea. We're definitely going to explore that and see how it works logistically. But I love anything like that to find something. It's like a little treasure hunt.
Yeah. Andrew Scott's been to Namche a few times, but never been to the Irish Bar.
Oh, Andrew!
What on earth are you doing in Namche then?
Come back, mate. Let's go there.
On the way back, I always go to Namche. I actually still remember the Wi-Fi code, at least what it was back in 2019.
What was it? It's all right. We can beat this out on the podcast.
It was Get Pissed.
Okay.
And I was like, fair enough.
Yeah. Wow.
Fair enough. Should we dive into some cues?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Any questions at all? I know there's a few come in there. We got a few by email. Do drop them in. Training. You can talk about anything at all. You can talk about Peru.
Yeah.
I know we feel like we talked about Machu Picchu a lot lately, but obviously it's very, very popular at the moment. As is Everest Base Camp, as is Kilimanjaro, Toubkal. And obviously the Evertrek investors. Big questions. Any questions? Do fire them away.
Yeah, awesome. So Chloe Greenberg,
yes,
she's not going to make it on the live today, but she'll catch up in podcast form. She said they keep her company on her wild walks with dogs. That's amazing, Chloe.
What dogs have you got?
Yeah, I was going to say actually there was sort of a rule you've broken there. And it's fine, you didn't know. But we need to know what dogs you've got and their names and whether they're good. All dogs are good.
Yeah, in their own way.
So finally took the plunge and booked to do EBC next year, the classic route.
Nice.
I call it the classic route. I know you get inundated with questions around fitness and prep, but I'm currently doing around 40 to 50 miles a week. I'll just stop you right there, Chloe. What are you worrying about? What are you worrying about?
That is,
how much more do I need to ramp it up over the next year? And is there anything other than carrying a pack around with me that you suggest doing sooner rather than later? Chloe, if you're doing 40 to 50 miles a week, you're already fit enough. Why don't you do the 3 passes instead?
I was going to say,
if you did want to pack it up, the only thing that I suggest, other than sort of hiking, which covers 99% of everything, is just practice some core strength. Maybe build some sort of endurance in the legs by doing just some squats and things like that. I actually find doing squats sometimes with the pack on, slightly weighted, but keeping my core straight, actually helps build the core. And that's only because one thing you may not be used to is doing multiple days in a row. So whether you got 11 days of trekking, so that's another thing you could do. Break up. If you normally do a 10-mile walk, you could do 5 miles one day, 5 miles the next day. Go round and then round the other way.
Nice.
And just do some multiple days and stuff like that. But otherwise, more importantly than anything you've asked is what dogs have you got? How many? What are their names? And please let me know they're the best dogs.
Yeah, nice, Chloe. Exactly. It's not too much to add. I think you're already doing loads.
40 to 50.
Yeah, that is really good.
It's probably more than I've ever done.
Maybe in terms of the routes, maybe you can find some that maybe a little bit steeper, so do less mileage, but maybe get some more up the difficulty. So try and get some steep climbs, some steep descents. Because in especially in Nepal on Everest Base Camp, we call it Nepalese flat, but it's a lot of up and down. But the mileage you're doing is perfect. In terms of those distances, you won't be doing those distances really. That's a lot in 1 week. But Dave made a good point there in terms of multiple days. That prepares you, and I know it's difficult because if you're working, and doing like 2 or 3 days can be quite hard. But if you can do a Saturday and Sunday, even if it's a smaller, a big one on the Saturday, and then maybe like a 3 or 4 hour hike on the Sunday morning, for example, with your aching legs, so it's good.
Yeah.
Or even, try and do some kind of later hikes in the night. You go to Kalapatar on Everest Base Camp route. If you do start early morning when it's dark, so just familiarizing yourself with that as well would be very useful.
Yeah.
But you're smashing it. Just remember to kind of taper that off. Don't do 40 or 50 miles a week before you go. Save that energy.
Tapering leaves us. We'll jump a couple.
We'll jump.
Because it leads on nicely to Emily Cathill's message. Do you recommend a taper before you go?
What do you think? I do. I like at least a week.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't treat myself to a bit of a rest. The reason people taper is because you don't want to arrive overtrained. Essentially, overtraining, can result in injuries and things like that. So you don't want to train like a madman right up to the point where you need to actually be in good condition.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, to be honest, I'll probably treat myself to about 2 weeks. Where I start tapering 2 weeks before.
Yes, that's good. Yeah,
I have tapered 3 or 4 months before, but I'll be honest with you, that's probably too much. But and when we say taper, we don't necessarily mean stop your training, but if you're doing sort of, let's look at Chloe, if you're doing 40 to 50 miles a week, 2 weeks before you want to go, you want to take that way down. The only reason is you want to arrive at the start line with completely fresh legs, no aches or pains or injuries, no niggles or anything like that. So when you're actually starting out, you're going to be in his best condition physically, the way you feel and fitness wise, you know. So yeah, that's generally what I would say.
Yeah, and a big part of it, you know, before the trip, in terms of, you know, okay, you maybe the tapering period is to mentally prepare yourself. You know, I saw who was it yesterday? Jerome put a lovely video up in the High Altitude Evertrekkers group talking about, you know, he's come in before the trip. I think he's leaving in a few days. And it was a great video as well. I know Jerome might be traveling at the moment, so we won't probably see this. Hopefully he sees it on catch up. But it was nice to hear the thoughts about the time before you go, the few days in the build up, because sometimes, you know, it can be quite daunting if you're not a regular traveler, if you haven't done like the transit thing before, if you haven't gone to these countries before, it can be a bit daunting. So getting yourself mentally prepared is just as important. Getting yourself comfortable and almost just accepting, look, there's going to be things that will be uncomfortable if I haven't done them before, but just accept and sort of let yourself know that's okay. It's okay to have maybe a little bit of anxieties about something, but just remember that other people are going through it as well. You know, if you can get like a traveling partner or go with someone, it can, you know, and you know, if traveling is difficult for you, you know, you can both go through that together, and it can help. But again, I go back to what I said earlier. The same when it comes to training, the same when it goes to mentally preparing for a trip. Just remember why you're doing it. You know, all the hard work you've put into it, what this means to you, and also remember you got out there to have a good time. It's a challenge, but try and enjoy it as much as you can. And sometimes that bit just before you go can be a bit of a challenge in itself. You know, I definitely work on that and get myself kind of mentally okay in the zone. You know, looking forward to that beer at the airport. You know, waiting. You know, obviously it's different for everyone, but there's certain bits you're like, right, the journey starts now. You know, is that when you start packing? Is it when you leave your house? Is it when you arrive at the airport? Is it the first beer? Is it when you get on the plane? You know,
we've had this before. And I lost because I hate traveling. Like for you, the adventure begins when you leave the house in the morning, ready to go to the airport.
Yeah, it does.
For me, the adventure begins when I've left the airport on the other side.
Really?
I can't. I don't like traveling. And do you know what? It's like, funny enough, I was with actually with your wife. Okay. Whilst you were away.
Nice.
Yeah, just looking after the homestead. And, yeah, so we were down in London, and I was talking to her, and we were talking about traveling and stuff like that. And I said, I don't know how Andy puts up with me, because I am a notoriously like unhappy traveler. Like if I get the middle seat on a plane, my world is ended. You know, I don't like queuing. I get hot and bothered all the time. But other people, but I see the majority of people love the plane. Like you've seen me before when we flew to Doha. Yeah. I got on the plane before we took off. The blanket was over my head, and I stayed there for 7.5 hours.
Like ET, you know, it was like literally. All I could see was his little face.
Didn't get up once.
I know.
It was, but anyway, I'll do it.
But you got there.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
No, but that period of time, I think, was it? It's David there mentioned. I hear you've been feeling anxious this week. Yeah, David, you're not on your own, mate. A lot of people go through this, you know, before you go, because of all the things you've done to get you to this point.
Yeah.
So, but try and enjoy the journey as much as you can, mate. You know, and remember that, you know, this is a positive thing. You going on an adventure is a positive thing. You know, you going out there and supporting the local communities, you going out there and challenging yourself, you going out there and achieving something. Like these are all positive things. You know, and sometimes, you know, the negative things can creep in and can kind of push those positive things to the side. So just bring them back in, put them at the forefront, and that might help you.
Di Fizzback all the way from the summit of Killy.
Hey Diane, how's it going? Yeah, congratulations. I know she was on here last week, but yeah, you forgot it was Tuesday. It's because you've been away so much.
Do you know what? I'm going to give Di Fizzback a bit of a shout out, right? Because out of all the people that follow me on Strava, there's one person that consistently clicks that kudos button on all my activities, and I need to be much better at it, because I see people do stuff and I think, oh, that's awesome, but for some reason it's beyond me to click a button. So Diane, every time you put something on there, please accept my apologies that I didn't give you kudos, but know that I really do. So yeah, she's a big supporter of Diane. She'll like pick those people up. She'll pick those people up who are down.
Yeah, well done.
I've just noticed Chris Sagar as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Chris.
Did he win?
He did win.
Chris is a winner, isn't he?
Chris, I was Namche Bazaar's wet today. Oh, mate, monsoon. I know it's It's crazy. It's the 4th of October. The monsoon's meant to end in August. So it's crazy that there's still lingering wetness around. But yeah, Chris, I hope you're having a good time. Yeah, Chris was one of our competition winners. It must be in 2019. It must be.
Was Chris of 2019?
I think it was a while ago. Yeah.
Was it 2020? I feel like it was 2020.
Maybe.
Chris,
yeah.
let us know, because you know what? I love this because it's gone full circle.
Yeah.
Like you entered some silly internet competition, and now you're in Namshi Bazaar. Like that's what I love about the competitions. You know that they are 100% genuine. Laura said it's impossible to keep up with Dan's activities on Strava.
It is.
That's my excuse, Laura. That's why I don't give anyone any good. Do you know what? I'm gonna make a public statement right now that I'm going to start supporting people that follow me on Strava.
Yeah, do it. I need to get more involved in Strava. I intermittently for me.
It's good, like, because I went out yesterday and I did a little mountain bike ride. I guarantee you, look, I'll see if I can go on here, right, and I'll see who's giving me kudos. So there's my.
Okay, here we go.
There it is.
Dave's live feed.
So this is yesterday.
Oh, wow. 9 miles.
Yeah, on the bike. This is one person that gave me kudos, and I'll click on it, and it's Diane. You see? So, look,
well, Diane's happy.
There's my ride. I don't know if you can see it. One person that's given me kudos, and if I click on that number, it's Diane. So, yeah, awesome.
And Suzette had an amazing time in Tanzania. Trained for over 6 months. Still the hardest thing I've done. Summiting was amazing. Yeah, Suzette, congratulations. I know, Killy's tough. Summit night is absolute beast.
I don't want to talk about something.
You know, especially if you're struggling with food, maybe the altitude. You know, it's a tough challenge. So yeah, something you remember forever. So yeah, definitely.
You would like to have this end?
Are you going to show one of these?
Yeah, I just found a little coca sweet
all the way from Peru. Honestly, legal tender.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean,
it's not the refined stuff.
Is it unrefined?
It's unrefined, so it's legal. And actually very good. Yeah, if you're in Peru, sorry, I know we talked about Peru a lot. You do get some coca.
Did you go to Peru?
Yeah, I did.
Mate, you know all those times that I turned, all those Tupac references.
Mate, I was thinking about the same. I mean, I can always pull that out of the bag, you know.
Yeah. I failed on Tupac.
You didn't fail. You got down safely, which is a success.
Yeah.
And what is it? We either win or we learn.
We win or we learn, yeah.
Exactly.
And I learned on that time that I shouldn't go to Tupac with heat exhaustion and a sinus infection.
That's true. That's a big lesson, though. But
yeah, Suzette is awesome. No sleep for 2 days. Honestly, Summit Night on Killy is one of those that we do our best to prepare everyone for, and there's a lot of things that perhaps you can do. But get
Brian's
right.
Brian, he's right, mate. Brian, right.
Yeah. But honestly, it's not that. It's not entertaining. It's just me riding around my mountain bike. But no, honestly, yeah, really well done there for anyone that's pushed through on Summit Night. So Suzette, Diane, everyone that's out there, because it's a beast. Have I lost my questions?
It was just the questions. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. I went off.
Suzette, thank you for setting up a trip of a lifetime. No worries, Suzette. No, great, and good you got to experience the safari and a bit of Zanzibar as well. Zanzibar, one of my honestly.
You've been to Zanzibar, haven't you?
Yeah,
I haven't been there.
Brilliant. And the safari. We've done some of the safaris.
I did 2 safaris.
Lake Manyara and Ngorongoro. Obviously, you got the Serengeti. Absolutely brilliant places. And if anyone is going to Kili as well, just a reminder, we do have, and I know we're working on developing the members area. Obviously, when you log in, and I know the add-ons, the extensions to trips aren't always easily located. But yeah, we've got some wonderful, awesome trips in Tanzania that aren't Kili. Obviously, so you go Kili, afterwards, you'd be beasting yourself for a week. There's some other stuff too, and you can book those in your members area. Just as a reminder, we've got I think it's a 2-day, 1-night safari. We've even got up to a 5-day safari, which is in Serengeti. We got a 5-day trip in Zanzibar. We've also got a 3-day trip in Zanzibar, just if you want to chill out on the beach, or you can do both. Just to let you know, because those bits we kind of forget really to tell people about them, which is a bit nuts. But they are really nice to do. Having way before, we're talking probably 15, 16 years ago when I first went to Tanzania. And traveling up. I remember flying into the main city, Dodoma, and going all the way up on a 9-hour bus to Arusha. You kind of remember there's so much to see. But sometimes you land in Kilimanjaro Airport, you go to Moshi, you climb Kili, you come back and you fly off. There are other places to go as well there. So yeah, definitely have a little look at those, and if you want to do them, you can book them in your members area.
Yeah, awesome.
Also, what other cues have we got?
Dave Hampson has said any more info on the potential opportunity, but I think you've covered that one. With the Evertrekkers
definitely
investing.
There's a lot, honestly, and for people who are just joined, because I know Carl's on here as well, Carl Commentary, 14th of Jan Kili, not long. There'll be a lot of info coming out over the next kind of few weeks around that, which will be awesome. And Evertrekkers first. We've had a lot of interest from people who aren't Evertrekkers, but we're going to go out to the community first, which is important to us.
Sorry, you meant staff. You said community.
Okay, that's fine. We can go staff first.
Yeah, good.
All 9.
yeah. I'm going to...
Chris, March 2019. I knew it was in 2019. Chris, it's been... Wow, 3.5 years, mate.
You've got a better memory for that than I have.
3.5 years.
I'm going to answer 2 questions in one go here.
Okay.
So first of all, Dave Hampson is... No, that's not that one. Mark Johnson has said, I'm doing the Kili Trek in 2023. Lamosha route, how many hours walking per day will it be? I'm also going to answer Carl Cobb's one, which is the summit night pretty much 24 hours of walking in one day? Because I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here.
Sure.
So pretty much this is where Diane corrects me because my memory is going to be so terrible. But every day on Kili, I would say you're walking between sort of, I think, 5 to 7 hours you're out and about. But some of that will be, you kind of stop in and things like that. So 5 to 7 hours on average. Perhaps the guys who have just come down will give you a more accurate figure. The big one, obviously, there's going to be there's some tough days. Going over the Elephant's Back is a tough day. Up to Lava Tower is a tough day.
Always,
but really, they're pretty manageable. The altitude obviously does play its hand. But then there's Summit Night, which is a completely outlier. It's on its own in terms of what you do. It's not really 24 hours of walking, but you will be up for over 24 hours. It's at least, I would say, 16 or 17 hours of walking. When we did it, we set off
10:30.
10:30. Woke up at 10:30. I think we set off about 11:30.
Right.
So we got to the summit at around 6:30 in the morning, and then so it was
about 7-8 hours.
And then back down again. So I think overall, we were about 12 hours walking. Because I think we got back at around midday. So it was about 12-13 hours top to bottom. And then you have another sort of 4 to 5 hours walking down, depending on how quick you are, to the lower camp as well. Sleep deprivation is part of the challenge on that one. I know you had a great
I struggle
time
with that, because I love my sleep. But any challenge, especially when you're walking through the night, if you haven't done it before, it's probably harder than the physical stuff. It's just trying to stay awake because you're moving so slow. Like, if you're walking at pace, it's quite easy to stay awake. But I think when you're climbing Kili, because you're walking so slow, it's quite relaxing. So you're almost like, oh, geez, I need to stay awake here. I think a couple of times you look back and my eyes were shut. And I know that happens to a lot of people. But you're right. Like, I think Sophie asked there about what do you recommend to stay awake at the time. Caffeine pills. You know what? Yeah, a lot of mountaineers, especially people on Everest and things like that, they take a lot of caffeine pills.
See, I didn't.
No, you're used to it.
I was used to it because
you've worked nights before.
I find it depends on. This is where I think Summit Night on Kili is an individual struggle. We go there as a team, but everyone's struggling for different reasons. Some people will be affected by the altitude. Other people will be like physically tired, so just moving your legs is tough. Other people will be like really sleepy, and that'll be a fight. I think my struggle, I'll be honest, going up to Kili, it's really strange. I felt fine.
Just the descent for you, wasn't it?
It was the descent for me that was really tough.
I remember.
Going up to the summit, I actually thought, oh, wow, this is great. I knew, like, as soon as I set off, I was like, unless I trip over, I'm going to do well today because I feel good. I wasn't tired at all. I think that's down to doing a lot of night shifts in a previous life. So I'm kind of used to that feeling. And I found that if I took caffeine, all right, the one pill is good. And then when it starts to wear off, I feel terrible. and then you got to keep taking them, but then I get a headache.
Yeah.
But then it switches. So coming down, Andy was kind of like, the sun was up, it was really bright.
Yeah, I was like,
you started to wake, you basically woke up.
Yeah.
And he was like real quick down, where I was going down, and I was like, this is horrible. I was sliding, and
that was fun though. That especially that dusty bit. I felt like I was surfing down. It was great.
that was the only point I felt tired. I slipped and I landed, and it's like this volcanic
dust.
ash.
Yeah.
It's so soft that falling over didn't hurt. And then I kind of like slid down a bit into like this. Oh god! And I just closed my eyes for a second because the sun was on my face, and I swear in that instant I think I fell asleep. But everyone behind me just saw me fall over and not get up.
Well, that was
So
like, Dave, you okay?
Dave. And I had to go like, shh. I'm fine, you know. Like it was
Wow.
yeah, it was yeah, it was honestly,
What a journey.
Yeah, what I love about Killy is that you have that day, but then you're down the next day.
Well, this is it. You're down the next day. You know, you go to the end sign. You have celebration with the team. It's a magical journey. It really is. Really is. I think we've it's been an amazing year. Really, we've had almost 30 different groups on Killy in the last kind of 3 or 4 months. Our last one group started yesterday, and our last group arrives on Saturday, and that's kind of it for the year. But it's been some of the stories and obviously the guys sharing some memories there. It's fantastic. That's why we do this stuff, right? That's why we push ourselves and going without sleep, having big descents, being up for 24 hours. It's this is why we do it.
Just banks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all part of the journey.
It's all part of it, yeah. And the thing is, what I love about taking on these challenges is that they are challenges, and when I always say to myself, like, I ask myself, what makes something a challenge? And for me, it really is the possibility of failure. Yeah. I think is what makes it ultimately a challenge for me. Yeah. Because if I know that I can 100% do something, even if it's going to be hard, I go into it relaxed and it doesn't feel like a challenge.
Yeah.
When I take on something that I think, the best example I can get, and funny enough, I failed again, was the Glencoe Challenge this year. It was the first real, I learned on that one. It was the first real time I pushed my knee, and it was horrific weather. Yeah. The organisers have said the bog was the worst it's ever been. Yeah. I know you'll know that. Shona will know that as well. And that was the first time I went in there deep down thinking, this is going to be tricky. I don't know if I'm going to do this. Yeah. But equally, even if I didn't do it, and I've started, and like in 1 year, I started and pulled back on 2 events. One of them was Tupcal, and one of them was the Glencoe Challenge. Yeah. And both times, you do take a hit. You do feel gutted that you didn't do the challenge. But very quickly, I turn it around in my head, and I just think, well, I'll just go back. I mean, the Glencoe, luckily, I'm not going back because I've already done it once.
Well, exactly.
So, yeah. But the other one, with Tupcal, I get to think, like, it gives me an opportunity to go back, and I am going to go back. I'm going to go back at the end of the year, and I'm going to do it again.
You're going to smash it.
And my father, he went out there, took on the challenge of Everest Base Camp, fell short, just shy of the first attempt, went back and did it a second time.
And did it. And
there's enough time in your life to do these things. Yeah. You shouldn't feel like at any time that it's one and done.
Exactly.
Although I think I did say that when I got back from
You did, but you're going back.
I'm going back in February.
Which is great.
I think I said, and I think that might be one and done for me on Killy. And now I'm going back.
It's because because of that descent, you were like,
oh my God. I was sick of it.
Carl makes asked a good question, actually. There are lots of other expedition groups on the top. Just wondered if a queue to get the summit. To be honest, it's different depending on the year. It's quite a big space. I'm trying to think what it would be compared to. It's certainly not the summit picks I've seen of like Snowdonia, of Snowdon, Ben Nevis, even Pen y Fan. That's the big queues. It's certainly not like that from what we've seen. And when we were up there was only a few people at the summit. I think there's more than enough space to get your picks. So don't worry, we'll get those summit picks for you.
Yeah, we didn't have a big. There was definitely some few people there. Yeah. They kind of come and go quite frequently. We were there perhaps one of the longest, I think, because we were on the top for a while. Yeah, we were, because we recorded a little podcast on the top. If you haven't listened to that, actually, it's a really good episode. If you go to the Mountain Malarkey podcast, I think it's episode 6 and 7 of the first season. You'll be able to listen to me and Dave. There's a few choice words on the top.
So do kind of excuse the language.
It was cold.
But it was cold, it was windy, but it'll give you a little indication of what it was like on the top of Kilimanjaro. Yeah, have a little listen. It's really, it's quite interesting looking back on that. Shona, I'm blaming my stinky hiking boots on that bog. Yeah, that bog was an absolute beast. Shona was on the Glencoe challenge.
I did that bit on my own. I remember getting to the first checkpoint.
Yeah,
you'd already left me for dead, and I think I saw Shona and Paula there.
Yeah,
and then I noticed a bit of a gap where no one was going, and I thought I'm going to be one of my own on this one because I'm going to be swearing quite a lot. And I remember trying to be clever and going from like mound to mound to mound.
Yeah.
And I was failing miserably at it. And then I decided, do you know what? I said, flip this. I'm going to
something like that.
Flipping walk as straight as I flipping well like. And I just went like as the crow flies. And I swear to God, I was nearly up to my hip at one point in it. And I got through with like I get through in those situations with brute force ignorance and swearing. But if
it works,
and it was quite funny because right at the end of the bog, then I saw you on the start of the Devil's Staircase. I was like,
and I was like, oh, all right, we'll do it together.
Yeah, the Devil's Staircase though is never as bad as it seems.
No, the name is harder than the up itself, but still, it's a bit of a
it's not so much the Devil's Staircase as I would say, just the I don't know what do you call it?
Call it a staircase.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look there. So a couple more questions. I know we got a couple more minutes. Here we go. So we got Brian makes a good point. Plenty of 24-hour walking, running challenges all over the country to train for Kili. Exactly. Perfect. We go back to what we said right at the beginning there. Doing training and doing something like a challenge or event, great. Like, you've got something to aim for, you've got something to motivate you. And going back to that, what we said at the beginning, make your training part of the adventure. Make it an adventure itself. Don't just see it as training, because then it can be just as enjoyable as your trip. I think for that. But yeah, sorry, Diana, I will answer your question. I think we're done. Anyone done Toupcal in August? Woo! Yeah, it's quite hot. Definitely hot. So be prepared for the heat.
Yeah.
But we did have some groups this year in July and August who did it and we're fine. Obviously, there's no snow up there, so it's the terrain's a little bit different. It's a bit more rocky. In terms of
poles, definitely.
Lorraine, definitely take poles.
So the scree on the way down.
A lot of scree up there, but it is definitely definitely a hot one.
If you run hot like me as well, what I've invested in is one of these cool towels, and you dip them in water and wring them out, and they stay cool for up to 2 hours.
Yeah.
One of them, I think. Yeah.
I
won't be doing Toupcal in August. Let's just
brilliant. Great stuff. Well, look, we hope that's been good today. We've kind of, I know it's about training and it's about maybe an alternative way to think about it, but the reason we do these, we talk about it, is because we know that certain people go through certain times and certain challenges. That can be for your training. Am I doing the right things? But as we go back to it, Dave, I think it's just important, isn't it, that we just get out there, enjoy yourself, enjoy these adventures, enjoy these challenges. In the UK or US, we've got a lot of people in Australia as well. Enjoy the prep as much as you can.
Yeah.
If you do get down a bit and you feel like it's getting a bit boring, change it up. Get a bit of variety in there, whatever that is. If you're looking for inspiration, go into the group, and in the High Altitude Evertrekkers group, and maybe try and join some other people who are going, because it's nice to meet other people on these things.
Exactly.
We know people who have lifelong friends now have met in the hiking arena, people who are now married because they've met on a training weekend, for example.
Happened.
It's great, these kind of things, and
yeah.
Definitely see the journey before you go as a really positive thing, and a positive to get your mind in a positive way and your body in a positive way before you start the journey.
Yeah.
The challenge.
Exactly.
But right, yeah, I think Kev, I'll answer this because I know Kev's going in 2 days.
Yes.
Off topic, is it easy to get Diamox in Nepal? Yes, it is.
Yes, very easy.
Your guides do carry it. You can get it in Tamil because it's like a tracking hub. You can get it there. Just ask your guide or Nuj when you arrive at the hotel. But Kev, have an awesome trip. I know we met last year, I think it was. Sorry, I know time's gone. But mate, have a great time, and to everyone else who going on trips, have a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see all the pictures, the videos. Definitely tag us, guys, if you're on Instagram. and Facebook, at Evertrek UK or hashtag Evertrekkers, just so we can see it. We can repost your stories, that kind of stuff. But good luck, Kev. Good luck the rest of you. And we'll catch you next week.
We certainly will.
All the best, guys.
Take it easy.